What's good, Alabama fans? Chris Daughtery here, and you're watching the Alabama Football Report. The Alabama football season, players report today. First practice is tomorrow, and then the first game is just a couple of weeks away. So if you are excited to see some Alabama football, type me in the comment section. Spam it as many times as you guys want. The most comments that we got on a video this month in July was 153, and I want to beat that at the end of July here. So make sure you spam your me's. I think everybody watching this video right now should be super excited. We did this last week as well, and we asked the most me's in the comment section would get a shout out. So Thomas Lyerly, he spammed his me 33 times in the comment section. So whoever does it the most on this video as well will get a shout out on a future video. So Alabama in the past couple of days have lost two in-state recruits in this 2025 class, Derick Smith as well as Antonio Coleman, both in-state guys, and it got me thinking there's been a lot of panic, I guess you could say, on social media about Alabama recruiting in-state recruits, and I just want to pump the brakes a little bit. I understand, Auburn's been going after and getting a lot of these in-state recruits for Alabama, but I think quality over quantity is kind of where I'm going with. This is where things stand right now in Alabama, in the state of Alabama. The top 10 guys, these are the top 5 right here. Naheem Offord, the number 1 player in the state of Alabama. He's committed to Ohio State right now. Anquan Fegans last night committed to Auburn. He is the number 3 safety and the number 2 player in the state of Alabama. Derick Smith was committed to the Crimson Tide, flipped to Auburn yesterday. And then Jared Smith, he's currently uncommitted, but he is crystal balled to Auburn. So what's that, like 4 out of the top 5 players in the state of Alabama could be going to the Auburn Tigers. And then you look at 6 through 10 here. Zion Grady committed to Ohio State. KJ Lacey, the number 11 quarterback in this class, committed to Texas right now. The only player that the Crimson Tide have in the top 10 in the state right now is Anthony Rogers at that running back spot. And then 2 more players, Jacob Folk and Malik Autry, also in that top 10, committed to Auburn. The Crimson Tide right now only have 3 players in the state of Alabama committed to them right now. Like I said, Anthony Rogers, Micah DeBose, 4-star offensive tackle, and then Mal Waldrop, a 3-star offensive tackle. So I understand there might be a little bit of worry with Alabama recruiting in-state recruits right now because you do want those top players in-state to go to your school. You don't want them going to Auburn. But I think, in the first year right now, let this staff get their feet wet in the state. They're still recruiting. They got the number 2 recruiting class in the country right now. So, sure, you're missing out on some of those in-state guys right now, but I think, you still have a whole season to go. We'll see how Alabama performs during the season. I think in that 2026-2027 class, they got their first 2027 commit and Barack Willis this morning. So, and he is a in-state guy. So I think as the years go on, 2026, 2027, I think you're going to be a whole lot better in-state when it comes to those signing classes. But I want to hear from you guys right now in the comments section. Are you worried about the state of in-state recruiting for the Crimson Tide right now? Type Y for yes or N for no. It is the pinned comment on today's video, so you know what that means. That ad comes here on YouTube. That's totally fine. You can ignore it. Go down there to the pinned comment and let me know. Type Y for yes or N for no. So this is the question that I posed to that question. What would you rather have? Would you rather have the number 2 signing class with only 3 in-state commitments, or would you rather have the number 5 signing class with 10 in-state commitments? That's the state of where we're at right now with Alabama and Auburn with their 2025 recruiting class. Right now, I think I would rather just go quality over quantity. Sure, Auburn has more in-state guys, but Alabama has the better class right now. I think, like I said, as we go forward, Alabama will be better. Kalen DeBoer, it's his first year. He's only been on the job for 6 months right now. Let him have his time. He will build those connections, and once the, year 2, year 3 come around, those kids in state are, they're going to be on campus. They'll have that time to be able to make those connections with Kalen DeBoer and this staff. I think Alabama's going to be fine in the future. Now, like I said at the top of today's show, Alabama players report today for, their first day in the facility. And then tomorrow around 9 a.m., they're going to kick off their first practice of the season coming up in this fall camp. I am so excited. There is a lot to get to, but I want to focus really on 2 position groups right now that I think we need to watch. The first one coming up is the offensive line, because I think it's just one of the biggest question marks you have right now is really on that offensive line, specifically those tackle positions. Caden Proctor, he missed all of spring, both at Alabama and when he was at Iowa. He didn't go through any spring practices at Iowa. Elijah Pritchett was over there at that left tackle spot, and you had Wilkin Formby at the right tackle spot as well. So, same with Parker Brailsford. He was on campus, but he was not practicing with the team. I think Parker Brailsford's going to be solid. Tyler Booker, Jaden Roberts are all going to be solid as well. But we just really need to see a better year from Caden Proctor than we did last year. You look at his stats last year. What I want to see from Caden Proctor is for him to build on what he did the last 7 games of last year. He was battling some kind of weight issues. They wanted this offensive line just in general to be as heavy as possible to try to be able to run the ball. But what happened was, it kind of hurt them when it came to pass protection and just being super athletic in general. I think Caden Proctor, you see right here, posted a picture that, he's dropped some weight. He's looking a little slim thick right now. I think he's going to be a whole lot more athletic this season. And I think Caden Proctor, just in general, needs to step up. I think he's going to step up, especially with Coach Cap here, being the coach of the offensive line. I think they're going to be a whole lot better than they were last year, being able to, assert their dominance. Because we've heard Tyler Booker talk about the fact, we heard it last year during media days, during that build-up, during fall camp. He was saying that, they're going to be that dominant force up front. And they were at times, but for the most part, they, weren't the best at both run blocking and pass blocking. We saw a lot of sacks last year. Some of those were Jalen Milroe's fault, but I think this offensive line really needs to step up and be a whole lot better here in 2024. Today's show is presented by Game Time. And you guys, if you're like me, you love Major League Baseball and you love the Atlanta Braves, making a couple of moves before the trade deadline today. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer to first pitch, and they have killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and the lowest prices guaranteed. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. And they don't just have baseball, they also have Alabama football tickets as well, already on sale coming up. We're about a month away now from Alabama football kicking off, so make sure you get those tickets to watch the Crimson Tide as well. They don't just have sporting events. They have so many other things. They have concert, they have comedy. You can go see Tom Segura next month at the Tuscaloosa Amphitheater, and they've got so many things that I love as well. They've got those last-minute tickets, so if you're just thinking about it on Thursday afternoon, you want to go to a concert, go to whatever, you can get those tickets last minute. They have flash deals. They have those panoramic views from your seat so you can see where, what your view is going to look like before you buy the tickets, as well as the best thing, they have the lowest prices guaranteed. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for your for $20 off your first purchase. Check out GameTime.co for last-minute tickets. Terms do apply, but again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS. That's CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. The second position group that I really want to go into now is the secondary. I think there are a lot of questions at that secondary position, and specifically, I have 4 big questions when it comes to the secondary. The first one, I think, is, will Deanii Jackson break out this season? We saw he was okay last year for USC as a freshman, but I really think, I really hope that he's going to be a whole lot better here in 2024. 2024. He came in, he went to USC out of high school, transfers this past offseason to the Crimson Tide. He's a former 5-star, number 5 player overall, the number 2 cornerback in the country, and he was also that number 1 player from the state of California. Deanii Jackson, he comes in with a lot of talent, but like I said, last year, he struggled at times, 64.5% completion percentage against him, which isn't terrible, but you'd like to see it be a little bit better. The yards allowed as well, 411 yards allowed. You'd like to see that come down a little bit. You'd like to see what I call, quote unquote, the ball hawking metrics, those PBUs, those INTs, go up a little bit more. Only 2 touchdowns on the season last year, that's not that bad. So, I think Deanii Jackson, if he can come along in year 2 here with Alabama, I think he's going to be really, really solid for the Crimson Tide. Make sure you guys are subscribed right here to the Alabama Football Report. Our first watch party is going to be on August 31st. That's the first game of this season against Western Kentucky. Make sure you guys do not miss out. Hit that subscribe button right now. That's youtube.com/@RollTideTV. My next question for the cornerback room is, who is going to be that cornerback 2 this year? I think it's going to be DeShawn Jones most likely, but there's a lot of talented guys on this team, and DeShawn Jones is going to have to get in there, and he's going to have to really solidify himself early, because if he does struggle early, I think there's a real chance that, whether that be Jaleel Hurley, whether it's Zabin Brown, Zay Mincy, I think there's more than enough young talent on this team that if DeShawn Jones does not, solidify that cornerback 2 spot early, I think there's a lot of guys, very talented young players on this team who could also step up and take that spot away from it. The next question, I think this is one of the biggest questions when it comes to the secondary. Can you replace Caleb Downs? Sure, you've got the talent. You've got Malachi Moore. You've got Keon Sabb coming in as well. But Caleb Downs did so much for you last year, it's going to be really, really hard for them to really be able to replace him to the same extent that he was at what production he was able to give you last year. Keon Sabb coming over from Michigan, I think he's going to be really, really good. Coming in as a breakout candidate, I think, as well. Didn't get a whole lot of, real snaps for Michigan last year. Malachi Moore really stepped it up last year, after that kind of backward slide of a sophomore year, was really good in his junior season. I think this year Malachi Moore is going to, be a real leader on the defensive side of the ball for the Crimson Tide, be that leader in the secondary especially. I think both of these guys together are going to be more than enough to replace what you lost from Caleb Downs. And the last question that I have about this DB room is, can Devonte Smith stay healthy? He's going to be that Husky spot for you, which is basically just the nickel that Nick Saban used in his defense. And you saw it last year. Nick Saban really praised Devonte Smith in a lot of different scenarios. His biggest problem was he just wasn't able to stay healthy and stay on the field. This is what new defensive coordinator Kane Womack said about Devonte Smith at that Husky position. He said, "I'm excited about Smitty. I think he can cover. He's a big frame, 200 plus pounds. I think he can process and make checks and adjustments. That Husky position is so critical to what we do because we ask a lot of that player, and I think Smitty has that." So Devonte Smith, his biggest thing is going to be staying on the field and staying healthy. I think he's going to be really good for Alabama if those two things can happen, being able to stay healthy and staying on the field. So I want to hear from you guys in the comment section right now. What position group are you most worried about this season for Alabama? Let me know right now in the comment section.